Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia. Used as a residence for the mentally ill as far back as the mid-1800s, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is open from March through November for tours, truly capitalizing on Halloween's energy. The hospital earned National Historic Landmark status in 1990 but closed down in 1994, and rumored ghosts have haunted the premises ever since. Yes, I've heard a lot about this place. Apparently, it is incredibly haunted. When it was a hospital for the mentally ill, I think a lot of people were tortured in there. The treatment wasn't great, and I think a lot of people died there in horrible ways. And obviously, early days of mental illness when they were doing experiments wasn't the nicest. I mean, people literally got lobotomized. Can you imagine getting a lobotomy? Like someone just takes a thing to your eye to disconnect your brain. You can't think. You're a vegetable. You can't do anything. You're just numb. Screw that. Or like electric shock therapy. Like, it's all baffling to me. Baffling.
What the I don't understand. Was that their friend? Or was that a ghost? Was it both? Are they friends with the ghost? Was that? I don't even know if that was worthy. Like, I feel like I was like getting cocky. I was like, oh man, look, I'm not getting scared.
I'm getting scared today.
Area 51, Nevada. The US government wouldn't admit Area 51 existed until 1992. Documents released in 2013 mentioned the Nevada military base. Officials still haven't revealed what type of research goes on, though conspiracy theorists claim alien activity is studied there. You can get a bird's eye view of the spot on Google Maps, but the sprawling desert makes it hard for anyone to sneak in, and security is tight. Even visitors with security clearances reach Area 51 on private planes that keep the windows down until landing. This is only one of many ways that Area 51 stays so secretive. Yeah, like, what is it? Area 51, aliens. I'm very curious, because I know that like all sorts of movies like have made allusions to it. People have made jokes about it. They're saying aliens are there. Aliens are a big topic recently. You gotta wonder what's going on, right? I personally love Area 51. It's a great color for a Ford, you know? Look it up. It's like a nice like gray blue. It's beautiful. Anybody want to contribute to my new Ford Maverick, Get Keegan a Ford Maverick fund? Let me know.
Now, here's something that's quite interesting. The recipe for Coca-Cola is considered one of the best-kept secrets in the world, and they keep it secret by stowing it away in a large security vault. Since the recipe was first created in the late 1880s in Atlanta by biochemist John Pemberton, Coca-Cola has jealously guarded it with all they've got. In 2011, the company decided to move the famous Coca-Cola recipe to an Atlanta museum, but while many tourists visit the facilities each year, few and exclusive are the people who can get through the doors of the vault.
Yeah, I bet you Coca-Cola's killed people over their recipe. No doubt. No doubt the multi-billion dollar, multinational, incredible corporation has spilled blood over their recipe. There is no doubt in my mind. This isn't Plankton versus Mr. Krabs here. This is a bunch of corporate agitators doing their best to ruin another company to make more money, and Coca-Cola firing back with hired guns and assassins in the night. 100%. There is no way that people who see that recipe that are not supposed to see that recipe don't get silenced one way or another.
Nagoro, Japan is a small town. Japan is quaint, but this eerie village in the Iya Valley has just 30 residents and over 400 large dolls. Local resident Tukimi Ayonu creates them in memory of the deceased, and they bear a striking resemblance to their deceased human counterparts, wearing their clothes and all, which adds to the creepy factor as they silently stare at you from all angles as you move about the town. They are not clustered in one spot, rather they are perched, fishing on the riverbank, sitting at desks in local schools or waiting for the bus. There was a reason as to why the town was dead. Not everyone died. A lot of them moved away for some reason. Everyone just kind of left, and this one woman stayed, and then she just created these dolls, life-size dolls of her former residents and neighbors, and just scattered them around the town. It's like, why? Like, maybe you go too? Maybe everyone just moves? Like, there's got to be a reason that people have left. I know this town attracts tourists now because of the dolls, but it's getting a bit creepy. Like, go and make some other friends in the world, yeah? Not just the dolls?
Ew. Daru. Check, ça a bougé. Ça a bougé. Ça a bougé, recule. Fuck.
What? What? That was a forest! That doesn't count. That doesn't count as an abandoned building. And I didn't even see anything spooky. I wish I knew what they were saying though, because I bet there was something spooky, but I didn't understand what was going on.
Tomb of the Qin Shi Huang in China. Farmers discovered the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, in 1974, and archaeologists have since found about 2,000 clay soldiers and expect there are another 8,000 still uncovered. Despite the excavation, the Chinese government has forbidden archaeologists from touching the central tomb with Qin Shi Huang's body, which has been closed since 210 BCE. The decision is partly to respect the dead, but also from fear that current technology isn't up to snuff for excavating without damaging the ancient artifacts. The whole thing is reminiscent of the mysterious chamber scientists recently found in the Great Pyramid of Giza. Yeah, that is a lot of clay warriors to be guarding your tomb, right? And the fact that they've lasted so long and they're just like, they're so numerous. There was no mass production technology back then. These had to be made by hand, most likely. That's absolutely insane, the amount of work that went into this for the first Chinese emperor. You gotta wonder if they'd ever come to life. Oh boy. Oh yeah, that rain is really coming down. Ah!
Room 39 is a secretive building that the North Korean government has committed to securing foreign currency for the nation's leaders. Room 39 was created sometime in the late 70s and is said to be located inside the Workers' Party building in Pyongyang, taking its name, according to some sources, from the office it occupied at the party headquarters in its early days. The organization is estimated to bring in between $500 million to $1 billion per year or more, and may be involved in illegal activities such as counterfeiting $100 bills, producing controlled substances, sales of weapons, and even international insurance fraud.
It's a lot of money for one room. It's a lot of work to stockpile all that money. I just feel like all of North Korea is like a place that people shouldn't go, but go anyways, you know? Know what I'm saying? I feel like there's not a lot of good going on for people that aren't the leaders of North Korea in North Korea. It's a tough gig, I hear. Although, you know, same could be said about America. Or Canada. Or anywhere. Let's be real. The world's a nightmare, guys. Why are we here? I don't doubt that they're, you know, procuring money in ways that they shouldn't be procuring money, whether it's through counterfeiting or the sales of controlled substances, because what else are they gonna do? They're just not gonna have that big room full of money in case of emergency. They have to be ready for anything. And if they're gonna be totally sanctioned against the rest of the world, they're not doing business legitimately. They're not doing things that are necessarily like good for trade with other countries. So they've got to be a little bit more sneaky about it, right? A little more covert. Makes sense.
Mansfield Reformatory, Ohio. Legend says that it's haunted, a convincing notion as plenty of inmates died during their sentences and they just might still be roaming the halls here. It's no longer in operation, it closed in 1990, but you can go on a guided or self-guided tour between Thursdays and Sundays throughout the year if you dare. For a deeper thrill, book a public ghost hunt or Escape from Blood Prison, a haunted house meets escape room. A haunted house meets escape room. Future Lucy, remember to write this down so I can go. I'm going to Ohio immediately, which are words I never thought I would say in my life, because why does anyone want to go to Ohio? I can't say it. I don't think anyone wants to go to Ohio. I think people want to leave Ohio, but I'm going so I can go to this. Anyway, this is creepy. There's something about like old reformatories, prisons, or like mental asylums. They're just all haunted because the treatment of inmates back in the day was not the most ideal. I mean, I'm sure now it's not the most ideal. Who knows what's going on in there?
Oh no. This looks like, oh my god. Oh my god. No. No. No! What the f going on? Stop. Move. Don't keep going in. Get out! Leave! What are you doing? That's like, oh, you know that scene from the Tower of Terror, the Disney movie? Love the ride. Absolute. Oh my god. Wow, just like spat out my whole life there. You know that movie? That's what that was. Because immediately somebody was going to show up headless with a knife and be like, woo.
Palm Islands in Dubai are 3 artificial islands built on the coast of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. The 3 islands, Palm Jumeirah, Dera Islands, and Palm Jebel Ali, are some of the most ambitious engineering projects ever initiated. Of the 3, only Palm Jumeirah has been actually completed, and as the name suggests, takes the form of a large palm tree topped with a crescent. Each island was planned to have residential, leisure, and entertainment centers erected on them, and they will add over 500 kilometers of non-public beaches to the city of Dubai once finished. Wow. I don't know if I'd call that scary. Just like, it sounds kind of nice. Like, I mean, it's scary that like Dubai like has like the power to do that and like bend nature to their will, I guess. But other than that, it just sounds like an insane feat of human engineering, and maybe smacks of like wastefulness a little bit, you know, to create new islands because you felt like it. I guess that's adding more beaches, but boy, that's it's a lot of work, I would say. A lot of materials. Surtsey Island from Iceland. Surtsey is a little island located on an archipelago off the southern coast of Iceland. It was formed as a result of a volcanic eruption that lasted for 4 years. Surtsey also has the reputation of being the newest island on the planet. Currently, it's open to a few scientists and geologists. This forbidden island is off limits for tourists, as it is believed that human interference will disrupt the ecological succession taking place on the island. Yeah, I mean, even putting the scientists there is a little questionable. I guess you'll get some answers about like the origins of islands and like how young islands, tend to kick things off. But be careful, Surtsey Island geologists and scientists. We want to see these ecologies thrive. We want little niches to pop up, little cool stuff to grow there. That'd be neat. Plus, if the volcanic eruption was going for 4 years, who knows when the next little bit of lava is gonna come out of the ground and burn your face off. Be careful.
Pripyat, Ukraine. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster of 1986 made this city of about 50,000 inhabitants completely empty. For many, it is a symbol of distrust of the government. Time stopped in this place because all the clocks were left without operation due to the force of the tragedy. Yeah, this one is absolutely terrifying, and most people know the story now because they made the TV show Chernobyl, which was amazing. But yeah, a nuclear disaster happened, radiation just hit this town like a bombshell, but I think it took too long for people to get evacuated because so many people got radiation poisoning and died from this event. The town is now left completely abandoned. People can visit, but I think there's a time limit on how long you can spend there. I think it's like up to 2 hours. But there are like many people speculate something else was going on. That was a government experiment. That maybe where are the people? Like, I'm just basing that off the movie.
Oh, Jesus. Excuse me, jump scare.
Oh. Basement right off bat. I'm gonna just fall back a little bit.
Okay.
Until Dan gets in here, maybe.
Agave? Is it blue agave? Take that. Agave is expensive, and it's a very good sugar. It's a good sugar alternative to your regular glucose fructose. Wow. I actually wouldn't regret going in there if that's what I found. I'd be like, oh sweet, agave, pocket that.
Antarctica. I mean, Antarctica is a continent that's mostly uninhabited and filled with unexplored areas. Most scientists and researchers who spend time in Antarctica inhabit areas around research stations because the extreme landscape is largely unlivable. Photos taken by NASA equipment capture the uninhabited areas of Antarctica and the Arctic region. Boom, the thing. That's what you get in Antarctica. Is it Antarctic or Arctic? Actually, I wonder. Where's the thing? Antarctic. It's right there. That's right, boys. Let's go. And girls. And theys. Anybody. The thing. But yeah, Antarctic. The climate is not, it's not great for living in. Lots of ice, lots of snow, lots of wind. Not a whole lot of place for things to grow. And obviously, alien creatures that touch down outside of bases and ruin everything for everybody. Be careful.
San Francisco sits a series of islands that are so jagged, they have earned the moniker, the Devil's Teeth. But this may no longer be a name based only in appearance. Because of the island's potential dangers, humans have been banned from stepping foot on the islands. The waters around the islands are still a popular destination for whale watchers, and because humans can no longer interfere, the Farallones have become the home to one of the largest seabird colonies in the United States. Although you can still catch intrepid skin divers sneaking onto the islands, the government adamantly warns anyone that they do so at their own risk.
I think the scariest part of that island is that huge colony of seagulls. My goodness. You ever seen a big band of seagulls like that? That's horrifying. You have one piece of bread on you and they will tear you limb from limb. Oh, well, what if the seabirds aren't seagulls, but cormorants? Those things stink, bro.
Dolls Island, Mexico. This island has a very peculiar history that makes it one of the creepiest abandoned places you can visit. Julian Santana Barrera lived in isolation as a hermit. Legend has it that at some point he saw a girl drowning in the river, so he began to hang dolls on the island to avoid the spirits. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Someone died in the river, apparently, and to appease the spirit of the girl, he would hang dolls around so she was happy and that she would not torment him. And now I think more people come and hang dolls. It's just a place filled with dolls. And honestly, I don't want to go because there's something inherently creepy about dolls. I don't know what it is. They're lifeless. They just look lifeless. They look scary. I think Annabelle's also ruined dolls for everyone, but there's something about dolls. Too creepy.
Crosses?
It's an upside down
Oh
cross.
my god.
Hey, St. Peter.
Only he can't save. Can't save.
Okay.
Only he can save.
Okay.
This is insane. We can't be here that long.
Oh, Jesus.
We're getting back to some dangerous 666 devil. Upside down cross.
Wow. Yeah, don't go in there because obviously Satan. We know he's not a nice guy. Actually, I feel like his followers are even worse.
Palmerston Island. Boom. Now this looks like an uninhabited island, unlike those palm leaves. Palmerston Island, described by the BBC as one of the most isolated island communities in the world, is visited by a supply ship twice a year. It's part of the island group known as the Cook Islands, which are connected by a coral reef. Due to its hard-to-access location, it requires a plane trip to Tahiti, then a boat from Tahiti to the island. Palmerston is rarely visited by outsiders and is the only island in the group that is known to be inhabited. The Cook Islands are also connected by a coral reef that is difficult for many boats to see, which has made for shipwrecks over the years, according to the BBC. Yeah, that would be freaky to be a resident there once you were exposed to the outside world. Do people choose to go there? Like they say, hey, I want to be disconnected from all this nonsense, and they show up there, or are they born there and that's just where they are? They're visited a couple times a year by the outsiders to be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Okay, see you later. I don't know. Either way, like, I feel like things go very, very well or very, very poorly. Because when you're so isolated, like if something goes wrong, what do you do? Right?
Historians claim that the fort bustled with life and people until its population started dwindling gradually in 1783 when a fierce famine came, ultimately forcing the villagers still living there to flee. Local legends state that the reason for the kingdom falling into ruin after the famine chased its people out was that the fort was cursed. And what do we do when things are said to be cursed?
Fort.
That's right, we leave them alone. The Indian government seems to think so too. The Bungar Fort is the only legally recognized haunted place in all of India, as a government permit is required to gain access to the fort before dawn or after sundown.
Legally recognized, eh? There we go. Get that permit. I guess, yeah, a lot of people during the day, and if you're with a whole bunch of other people, it's not too big of a deal. I wonder how many like tourists are here like on any given day, and then how many of them see something haunting and are like, ah, guys, look, ghosts, and then everyone runs over and there's nothing there, you know? And I'm sure they did see something, but the ghost is like, I'm tricking you today. Everyone else is gonna think you're crazy. Good luck. That's wild to have a government recognition of hauntedness. I would love that. I would love to go to a place that a government says, hey, you can't come here after dark. Not because, you know, like there's, we're trying to hide something. Not because low visibility is bad, because it's haunted.
La Recoleta Cemetery, Buenos Aires, Argentina. This Buenos Aires resting place is seriously haunted. Even the city's tourism website endorses the neo-Gothic cemetery's status. Stroll among the 6,400 statues, coffins, mausoleums, and gravestones, and you might hear keys jangling. That is probably the late gravedigger David Eleno, who reportedly took his own life after 3 decades on the job, and the day the statue of himself that he commissioned was complete. Damn, I mean, if that was my job, I wouldn't want to be around it either. Look at that. Look how packed it is. That place has got to be haunted. Amount of dead bodies in there? Not a chance. I don't even want to visit. I'm okay not visiting. I would kind of like a mausoleum for myself though when I'm gone. But at the same time I don't. Like I don't leave my body. Like I just want to be dust. I want to be like after the Thanos snap. I just want to drift away. But I want a mausoleum and I want a statue of myself and everyone can come visit me and just like give me gifts. Because I want to kind of linger. Anyway, this isn't about me.
Ooh, it looks so cool, but it also looks like a dang hazard. Look at all those things that could fall on top of your head. You shouldn't enter that, not because it's haunted, though it clearly is, because how could, like, it just looks that way. Like, it could be asbestos, could be falling bricks, who knows?
Located in Bhutan near its border with Tibet, the mountain Gangkhar Punsem is known as the world's tallest unclimbed mountain, according to the BBC and Condé Nast Traveler. Gangkhar Punsem stands at 24,981 feet above the ground, according to the BBC. It's believed to have never been conquered, but in 1994, prospective climbers were barred from ever attempting to reach the top of the mountain as the government closed it to climbers. BBC reported that all peaks in Bhutan that were higher than 19,800 feet were closed that same year out of respect for local spiritual beliefs. Fair enough. You know, if people are being prevented from climbing it, it's going to be a while till somebody actually climbs it. I'm sure someday, in the distant future, those regulations will relax, but until then, we can dream about it. I thought it was going to be one of those ones where it's like people were trying to climb it and just like dying. Like there was like a Yeti, an abominable snowman up there. There was some sort of evil force, like SCP-style corpse mountain just waiting to consume people. But nope, they're just like, hey, we're gonna shut this down for a bit. Sorry, folks. I understand. It's like when the ice cream machine doesn't work at McDonald's. You gotta say, understandable. Have a nice day. Diego Garcia, British Overseas Territories. Located between East Africa, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia, Diego Garcia is an important strategic asset for the US Navy, which has a major military base there. It's also said that some of the CIA's most important floating black sites could be located in the area. During the Cold War, the United Kingdom's rented the atoll to the United States for 50 years, but the island was not uninhabited, so before renting it out, the British government expelled some 2,000 Chagosians. Between 1968 and 1973, these inhabitants were forcibly sent to Mauritius, the Seychelles, and other British territories. Since then, the islanders have unsuccessfully demanded the right to return to their homes. Diego Garcia's tenancy expired in 2016, but the UK has extended the contract for another 20 years. Wow, just colonialism in action, eh? Just poof, get out of here, it's ours now. All these colonial nations, bunch of jerks. I know the world looks the way it does now because of them, but is that a good thing? Would we be happier if that weren't the case?
Akodesua Fetish Market, Togo. Located in the capital city of Lomé, the Akodesua is the world's largest voodoo market and not for the faint of heart. Imagine strolling the stalls and coming face to face with a human skull or an animal head. Benin's folks, Benin is said to be the birthplace of voodoo religion, not New Orleans or Haiti, run the market and believe that in order to heal or rid yourself of a curse, talismans can hook you up with the right medicine. Okay, this market's just baffling to me. It's a place, it's a voodoo market. There's skulls. There's lots of skulls. Do you buy them? It's to do with voodoo. I'm not entirely sure how this works or my understanding of it. Every culture and religion have different things. Is the skull is a talisman? I'm very baffled. I don't know what I would do with the skull. An animal skull? Like, what'd you do? You hold it? I don't know what you're doing with this stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm okay not going there. I'll just skip it.
Ooh, Nike. I love this stuff.
Something like that, Chainsaw Massacre. Mate, what? What the hell?
What the?
Excuse my language, people. Guys, there's a whole floor of bones. What? What is that, mate?
I don't know, I can't tell. I don't look like there's any skulls.
The problem with bones is that, especially if they're like broken up, you can see like a spine and like a hip bone, but it could belong to like, I don't know, a deer or something, and you just don't see the head yet because that's where the animals drag their food because it's safe. But what if that's actually a human being? I really want to know if anybody knows what that video is, let me know in the comments because I really want to know the end story to that. Cause like, did they actually find human bones? Because that's spicy.
Sondung Cave. Okay, we got a little tent community in here. It looks like a lovely little lake. I'd go for a swim. Sondung Cave in Vietnam's Nha Bang National Park dates back to prehistoric times and was only rediscovered in 2008. According to CNN Travel, the cave was first discovered in 1990, but its original location was lost and not found again until 2008 by two researchers from the British Caving Research Association. Sondung Cave is known as the world's largest natural cave, as it's believed to have been formed 3 million years ago. In 2013, it was opened to the public for the first time. Yeah, no, that's an enormous cave. I would love to just imagine the immensity of it. Like, you can see it in a picture and be like, yes, that is big, but like, imagine standing down beside one of those tents and looking up at this enormous naturally formed cave above you. I've only been to like caves in Peterborough, or near Peterborough, whatever they're called, and those are like little, you can walk through them, you can spelunk a little bit, but you're always like close quarters in there. This is like, you could fit like a city in here. You have a cave city protected against like dragons in ancient times. Holy moly. North Brother Island in the US of A. Located in New York City, North Brother Island is one of the most popular abandoned places in the USA. Originally developed as a quarantine hospital, it was the home to the Typhoid Mary. She was identified as the first American to carry typhoid fever. Later, this place became a rehabilitation center for drug addicts. Now, North Brother Island has a bird sanctuary and is permanently shut for the common people. I'm a common people. What if I wanted to visit? I'd like to see some birds. I'd like to explore an old medical facility. That's a big thing that people really like doing, is finding an old busted up medical facility somewhere and exploring it with cameras. Just the newest American pastime, you know? There's baseball and then there's urban exploration in old abandoned hospitals. Take your pick.
Chapel of the Bones, Portugal. The Bone Chapel in Portugal receives its name because the remains of more than 5,000 monks rest on its walls. As if that were not enough to make it more frightening, 2 bodies hang from the ceiling tied with ropes. Oh my god. I mean, that seems entirely unnecessary. Look how many bones. It reminds me of the Paris catacombs. It's the exact same thing. They ran out of room to bury the bodies, so they just put them down there and people can do tours. It's just bones, human skeletons everywhere. That just seems very unpleasant to me, and it bet it smells. That's all I'm saying. That's a smell you'll remember for life. And I don't want that in my life.
Shake can. Oh, Jesus wept. Oh, no. Oh my goodness. Oh man, was that just like a scary art film? Come on. Nothing's scarier than an art film. I gotta be honest. Literally, you'll spend like 3 minutes looking at a skateboard going through different graphics and you're like, I can't get those 3 minutes back, and that's terrifying.
Surtsey. Surtsey, a volcanic island off Iceland, has only ever been open to researchers. The island of Surtsey, located off the southern coast of Iceland, was formed from volcanic eruptions that occurred between 1963 and 1967, according to UNESCO. Surtsey has only ever been open to highly trained scientists, according to Atlas Obscura. UNESCO also described the island as being free from human interference. Right? I think they just don't want people there to interfere with the natural development of this island. I think the longer we keep human paws off of it, the better, right? Imagine just like this brand new island that hasn't even really had time to have like a biome, you know, solidified upon it. There's no environmental niches or anything. Niches? Can't remember how my science teacher used to say it. But imagine if you would, they just open it up to human interference, and then all of a sudden we've got like developers coming in and building freaking condos and hotels there. Despicable. That's classic human behavior right there. Let's let the island be, see what happens, see if any crazy development goes down without human interaction. I wonder if there's gonna be like some like new things evolving. Flying a drone down there? What is this? That was neat. I loved that. I want to slide down that on my and then be trapped at the bottom of this hole for all eternity. But I mean, I guess I'll let the drone do it, right? Little less permanent that way. Neat. Oh, I wonder how many dead drones are at the bottom there. How many people have flown down and goofed up and like crashed into the wall, and now it's just piece of busted tech at the bottom of this enormous hole. I wonder how many monsters live down there, let's be real.
Oshima Island, Japan. At some point, this was the most densely populated island on Earth. 5,000 workers lived on this tiny island, a mining facility. The cement buildings today crumble as they have been abandoned since 1974. That whole thing was supposed to be the most densely populated? Oh, do you mean for, like, the amount of land versus the amount of people? Maybe that's what it means, because I think the most densely populated island would be Great Britain. That place is gonna sink. Anyway, the facility shut down, I think, so everyone left, and now it's just an abandoned island. Nothing going on there. That's creepy. That'd be a cool place to visit, though. I'd visit there. As long as there's no spirits. I don't want to see them.
No, what the f*** I'm winding you up. In hell is all that about? Mate, what is that? Huh? What is this about? Oh, it stinks. Oh, it stinks, Mark. Do you not even stink?
I haven't got in there yet.
Guys, what is this? Guys, I promise you, we've just turned up. This room was like this when we've just literally arrived.
That's gross. That's so gross. I don't know. But again, it's kind of like a good thing. If they do end up being human bones, then they discovered something, which they should call the police about.
Southern Namib. The southern Namib, part of the Namib Desert, is one of the driest places on Earth and is largely unexplored. Is that it? That feels kind of like a dry explanation of one of the driest places on Earth. But I suppose, similar to Antarctica, you know, you wouldn't want to be hanging out there without a purpose. If you had like a research base, if you had somewhere to like stay and do, but just to like hang out here, just to walk around, you die. You just turn into a freaking mummified corpse right away. Air would just suck all the moisture right out of you. The Lascaux Cave is a treasure trove for archaeologists around the globe. The cave complex contains prehistoric paintings that are 17,300 years old. The series of Paleolithic paintings that look hauntingly vivid hugs the wall and depicts animals like cattle, stags, bison, and many more. Sadly, the cave is closed to the general public since 1963. Archaeologists believe that human presence might destroy the ancient work of art. I agree, scientists. Humans do tend to ruin things, don't they? They just go anywhere they want, say anything they want, and just goof everything up every single time. But those are some lovely cows and bison, don't you think? 100% somebody goes down there and draws something inappropriate on the wall. Lunatics.
Belchite, Spain. Belchite is one of those memories that remain of the bloody wars. In this case, they are the ruins of this town, destroyed during the Spanish Civil War. Many myths have formed around this town that is a tourist destination for the curious in Aragon, Spain. Huh? Such a vague description. I mean, I would go. This seems very cool. Like, look at the crumbling structure. Like, that looks fun. I would go there. It doesn't seem too bad. I mean, if it's the ruins of a war, then maybe there's some spirits lingering. But I'd go here. Seemed pretty pleasant. It also seems like very pretty. I've been to Spain once. It was alright. Like, 5 out of 10 trip.
All the music already. Was that a lady on a branch, or was that just like a plastic bag that got caught in a tree? Sometimes they look like ghosts. We're disgusting. We litter all the time. You know? Sometimes you're like, oh look, a plastic bag. I needed one of those. Too bad it's all the way up in the tree.
Pitcairn Island. Oh, it looks nice. I want to go to Pitcairn Island. It requires a hefty 32-hour yacht ride to get to the remote island of Pitcairn from Auckland, New Zealand, and apparently no plane or helicopter has ever landed there. The island is known as a British Overseas Territory, and its government is situated in New Zealand. It's considered to be one of the least populated territories in the world, with about 50 residents in 2018. A photographer who has visited the island previously told Insider that when Pitcairn's inhabitants need medical attention, they must go to New Zealand or Fiji, and are sometimes unable to return to Pitcairn for weeks or even months. Yeah, that is isolated. Yeah, that's 32 hours and no planes, no nothing, no helicopter. That's wild. That's a lot to get onto that island. I bet you they feel so much cooler than the rest of the world. It's very exclusive, you know. It's their Pitcairn club. They do what they do and nobody else can. Hell yeah, Pitcairn. I bet you there's some creepy rituals that go on after dark. You know, everyone who lives there is like, all hail the god of Pitcairn. We must sacrifice an outsider. And then I get sacrificed because I'm the outsider. It makes sense. I get it. I understand.
Surtsey is off limits because researchers don't want anyone or anything external to interfere with the evolution process. Due to water and wind erosion, the island has been decreasing in size since then. Research by the Surtsey Research Society has estimated that according to the current rate of erosion, Surtsey could be at sea level by the year 2100.
Sorry, I couldn't focus on that one because the scary version of Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies was in the background. Like, come on, why are you gonna pick Christmas music for a thing about Surtsey Island? We already looked at Surtsey Island too. I guess this is just a more in-depth look, a more moving picture look, as it is. It's interesting though. I think that's a fascinating place to visit, but we're not allowed to visit. But we'll leave it be. We'll let it develop on its own. If you love it, let it go. They grow up so fast.